what this extra hair is. Whereas the females over here are about half the size, and they're brown in color. Right next to them, never mind. So it's interesting too, because this is actually one unit. So Hamadryas society starts out with a base layer of one unit, which is one male and several females. So this is Lex. Two of his girls are right here. One right there, Sadie, and then that guy back there is a little younger male who is not quite dominant enough or old enough yet to have any ladies of his own. But you start out with those units, and then several of those units come together to form a clan. Several clans form a band, and several bands form a troop. So in the wild, you can actually have several hundred all together at one time. Whereas here we have a clan. So out of our 9 males, 5 of them have females that they call their own, so we have 5 units in here. Over there playing, we have some of our younger ones. Our youngest one is actually going to be 4 months old. That does not look like her up there. That looks like our 1- and 2-year-old playing. But we do have a nice broad range of ages in here as well. So like I said, our youngest is 4 months, and our oldest is actually going to be 25 years old. And she is pretty easy to distinguish because she does have a bare back. So if you guys see her, she is our oldest female in here. Our oldest male is 20. His name is Elvis. He is our most dominant male currently. He has a nice bright big red face, so if you see him going around, you'll know who that is. He is also the one who kind of garners a little bit more respect from all the other males, as long as he is not trying to interfere with any of the females. They are very territorial of their females, so they're going to make sure that they keep those ladies close by, because other males will potentially try and steal them. So that's one of the biggest reasons that they keep them close. You can see, I don't know if you guys saw when he was yawning, he has those really big canines. So we don't go in with any of these guys, just for their safety and for our own. So what we do to make sure that everybody gets the same opportunities to eat is what we do is we ring a bell, and then they know that those doors in there are going to open. So they all run inside where they get their extra treats, so they get fruit inside. And then that allows us to get them all in there, and we can come out to the exhibit, and we can spread food around this exhibit and the other one that they have. And that way everybody can go ahead and come back out and look for all the food that they want. Everybody gets those same opportunities no matter where they are on the hierarchy. And then they go ahead and shove their faces full of food because they have what's called cheek pouches. So it looks like they have big racket balls in their cheeks when they come back out and find or put everything that they can find in there. And then they'll go somewhere where they feel really comfortable, and they'll go ahead and push it back out and go through it. But it's a really good adaptation for them in the wild as well, that they can get as much as they can hold in that mouth, and then take it to a spot where they feel comfortable. So you can see this is another male who's coming around with his ladies. If you guys watched the show on Animal Planet, the zoo, Info right here was introduced to 2 females from Oakland. They're doing really well. He's keeping them close by, making sure that they don't go too far. This right here is Elvis that I was talking about, our dominant male who keeps an eye on everything. These guys are omnivorous as well, so they do eat different type of plant material. They'll also eat vegetables, fruits, what we feed them here, as well as a type of dried primate biscuit, which is specially formulated for primates. And then we'll also give them different type of leafy greens. Every now and then we give them different meats, kind of like just a little bit of meat. It's bugs is what it really is. And so we have some sand pits in here. We'll go ahead and put things in there to try and give them that same opportunity to forage and dig around like they would in the wild. So they have to look for it in there. This is our youngest one. That's Zala coming around with Dad Arnold and Tankara right there. She's giving. She can see you guys as well, so she's checking everybody out over here, making sure there's nobody shady. She's looking. So, but these guys are opportunistic as well. If there's a bird or something in here, they will potentially try and catch it. So we don't give them meat like you would a typical carnivore, but they won't necessarily turn it down if it's in there. So. Do you guys have any questions about Hamadryas baboons? Yeah.
How old is that baby one?
She's 4 months old. Yeah. So we have a 4-month-old, a 7-month-old, 1 and 2, and then upwards up to 25 and a lot in between in there.
How long do they live?
They can live to be into their 30s, yeah. So we've got good range in here.
Is there a reason they all just like casually went over there?
So some of it is that's just kind of what they would do in the wild. They would kind of just wander around looking for different food items, looking for somewhere where they were trying to rest, depending on the heat of the day. You know, they could look for a cooler spot. Also, some of it is anticipatory. They know that, hey, all right, lady, we have our watches. We know that when you're done with this talk, you're gonna go and set up inside. So they kind of know a little bit of that as well. But they're always looking for different areas where they might want to see if maybe they missed something that we had thrown out earlier, and they're trying to see if they can find it. But they do have, like I said, this exhibit and the lower one, so they can kind of go between all of it and just check everything out. Yeah, sometimes they'll also just come out here and pick through grass seed, so they're always looking for something.
But they move as a pack like that?
Not all the time. So you're pretty much always going to have a unit moving together, so a male and his females, but not necessarily the entire clan is going to go together. But there are times when all 26 will kind of move together, but a lot of times it's just going to be 1 or 2 units at a time that are going.
And so that's like what you call the clan? Like that's like the
Yep, because they have several different layers. So it's the unit, clan, band, troop. So it's a lot of layers in Hamadryas society. Whereas in typical primates, you just are going to call a group of them a troop. But these guys have so many different layers upon layers in here. So yeah. Do you guys have any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you ever get 2 males that kind of fight?
We do get males that fight, and we kind of just let it happen because a lot of times if we were to try and separate them out, they wouldn't necessarily resolve what they're fighting over, and a lot of times it's a really quick kind of thing. So it's not something where they're really trying to hurt each other really bad. It's they're trying to settle the dominance, and so it's over typically in seconds most of the time. But I mean, one of the things that we also do with them is train them. So we do everything through protected contact, but we want to make sure that if there are injuries, we can get a good look at them. So inside, we can do some training with them where the males will especially let us use like target pulls where we can manipulate their hair, which is a big thing for them because if they do get injuries in all that hair, we want to be able to see it. And then that allows us to not only check it out, but also let the vet see it if we need to have them come and look at it. So they help us help them, basically. But yeah, we kind of just let it happen because, I mean, they're wild. It's what they do. And they're actually really remarkable healers, too. So even when they do get injuries, it actually is not necessarily taking that long to heal up, and they don't necessarily need intervention for it to heal either. So it's remarkable, really.
Is the design on the windows, is that to prevent like the eye contact or anything?
No, that's actually to prevent bird strikes. That's what that is. Yeah, these guys aren't necessarily as much of where you have to avoid the eye contact like we do with like gorillas or something like that. These guys, they'll look at you, they'll check you out, but a lot of that is going to be more with like what your face is doing. So if your eyebrows are raised, that's kind of more threatening to them. If you're opening your mouth at them, that's threatening. So they have a little bit more of that where they're playing into it as opposed to the direct eye contact.